Welcome back, seekers of the sacred. Today, I am taking you on an off-the-beaten path in Egypt. And surprise, surprise, this is going to be one of the magical places that you get to visit when joining me on this December's pilgrimage to Egypt, initiation into the Merkaba grid. So stay tuned. Yes, Egypt is a lot more than the pyramids, the Nile, and the temples. And no argument, these are powerful and transformational spots, yet there's more. When you hear the name, the Valley of the Whales, you might probably think of a beautiful turquoise bay flanked by lush, green rainforest fjords somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, with whale calves and their mothers playing in the waters, echoing the sound of peace and harmony. Well, not quite. You will find the Valley of the Whales no other than in the desert. Since you will unlikely find living whales in the desert, you guessed it, the Valley of the Whales is a graveyard for whales and also other fossils. In other words, this is an Akashic records storage in petrified form in the desert, of prehistoric importance and significance. No other place in the world yields this number, concentration, and intactness of such fossils, reaching from elephants, whales, sharks, turtles, manatees, dinosaurs, and crocodiles, and even beyond. They have found over 1,000 whale fossils there, making this the largest whale graveyard on Earth and one of the most important places in the world for paleontology. So these fossils, most of them are dated to be 40 to 50 million years old. It's like a number that my brain can't even wrap itself around. And considering this age, the majority of the fossils are incredibly well preserved. For those watching, I'm going to play out a few pictures so that you see what it is that you're actually getting to be looking at when traveling through this sacred landscape. And despite the fact that very few people know about this place, it is a UNESCO Heritage Site. Now, an interesting side fact that I learned is that many of the UNESCO heritage sites around the world not only preserve areas of geographical, geological, or historical meaning, but in fact also spiritually and energetically. This place, the Valley of the Whales in Egypt, in the desert, does not only hold codings of humanity itself, but your own soul blueprint and its role in the collective. So home to this former whale sanctuary is the Fayum Desert, and it is, get this, only 4 hours from Giza and the pyramids. But practically, very little people go there. So if you decide to travel to Egypt with me in December this year, you'll get to experience its full magic and the codes stored in the sands, not just for one day, but actually an entire night under the stars and with the consciousness of the whales as well. So let's explore some interesting threads about the Valley of the Whales. The Arabic name, and I'm probably going to be pronouncing this wrong, is Wadi al-Khitan. Wadi not only means valley, but it actually means dry riverbed, suggesting that everywhere in the desert where you would nowadays find a wadi, this used to be an area richly flooded with water. And some of you might already get the hint to Atlantis and the Great Deluge covering all of the earth and then drying up again, leaving big, big patches of land as desert sands. Khitan means whale, and I am sensing that there is actually more to it that I have not figured out. So if you do know Arabic and have more clues to what this might also lead, tracing the etymology, please let me know. I'm happy to learn. Now, imagine yourself in this breathtaking landscape of desert dunes and sandstone, walking with reverence and finding hundreds, if not thousands, of fossils of some of the earliest form of whales. Like, and I want you to pay attention now, the Basilosaurus, a species that is long, long extinct. Why is this important? What they found is that this Basilosaurus has hind legs with the species, suggesting that the evolution of whales led them to transition from land animals to a marine existence. Now, I want you to make a little mental note here about this because we are going to come back to this later. It is said that the Wadi Al Khitan is the most important site in the world to demonstrate one of the iconic changes that make up the record of life on Earth through the evolution of the whales. And I am inviting you to go even further and replace the whales also by humans and the human consciousness, and then go beyond and replace that by the entirety of species of plants, animals, and beings residing on planet Earth since the existence of Gaia. Now, I want to add on a little lensing of energy blueprints and spiritual blueprints. The whales have always been around and on the Earth for millennia. They are holding the Earth and her grid in place through the frequency they are, and obviously the frequency sounds that they emanate over huge, huge distances in the water, as the water being a conductor of energy, a conductor, a carrier of information and frequency waves, sound. So imagine exactly this frequency of the whales as important anchor point to the magnetic field of Gaia. As they are infusing these invisible ley lines and the meridians, this grid with energy that is originally sourced from the star systems like the Pleiades, Series A, Series B, and I am sure even beyond. So to me, and like through my own lineage and journey with the whales, they come in oftentimes when I do energy healing work. They are a highly, highly cosmic species, much more elevated in consciousness than the human species. And now this is important. Grabbing back your mental note that you just made, your thread of the whales with these rudimentary hind legs by the name of the Basilosaurus. And first, I want to play a little bit in the world of etymology again. So the basilo, it comes from the word basilius. And yes, it is the same word stem as basilica, meaning kingly or queenly, royal, regal. So what does this indicate? It indicates the star origin, the derival directly from source, from God, goddess, consciousness, and the supremacy in terms of the elevation of consciousness. So the expression of this royal nature that is a given nature because because you are a descendant directly from source. You are a God particle. They are a God, goddess particle. So that's the basilis, right? And what's next is my personal interpretation and findings. And you don't have to believe any of this. But if you are ready to go along with me, then I'm inviting you into the rabbit hole. Ready? Okay, let's go. The saurus in its name led me to the connection between the whales and obviously the dinosaurs, which my heart knows that what we classify as dinosaurs, in fact, were dragons. Dragons roaming the earth. And dragons, as you might or might not know, have always played a very crucial role in all creation myths of Earth. Stories, or what I want to say, truths about Gaia, about our planet Earth that we live on. They have been around forever. Now, of course, more in the etheric realms than in the physical. But if you want to do some research, go and type in Tiamat, and you will find her as the primordial dragon goddess that led through a collision to the creation of our Earth and also all the asteroids around it. So now the fact that this king or queen of the whales, this Basilosaurus, had some sort of rudimentary hind legs, even more tells me that there is some hidden connection between both beings, the dragons and the whales, that have unmistakably played an immense part in the creation of Earth and are still energetic anchor points around our planet, whether it is in the physical or in the spirit world, whether it is in the element of water or in any of the other elements, to assist in the evolution of the human consciousness. Taking a pause, taking a break to, just allowing you to take this in and let it run through your system. And I want you to discern with your own balance of ma'at, whether this is true for you or not. And if you go now, well, this is nuts, this is crazy. I actually get it because this was my first thought after I had made the connection. My mind was like, you're crazy. Like, this can never be true. Dragons and whales, like, this is two completely different species and things. And like, what are you actually talking about? No way. But I am inviting you to do your own research and to just also, again, like, feel with your heart what deep down you know to be true, more than your cognitive senses and your mind can ever grasp. And as I did some further research, there is actually findings that led me especially into Asian mythology, as there the dragons are mostly connected with the element of water. So it is a lot of talk about the sea dragons, and those sea dragons, why not, of course, could easily be whales. And another very famous story that probably a lot of you know is from the Bible, where Jonah gets swallowed by a whale. And if you know that intentionally or unintentionally, there is many facts and truths that got lost over time in translation. And in the Hebrew Bible, there was never the mention of a whale. In fact, this word didn't even exist back then. So, what is mentioned, however, is a sea creature or a sea monster. Or, you know what's coming now? A sea dragon. So, I'll leave it at that. If I got you curious, come to Egypt with me and experience this alchemy and this knowing in your blood and bones yourself. December 11th to December 18th, 2025, and feel for yourself as you traverse the sands of time and get to sit and meditate in the energy of these giant creatures and just listen what they tell you about their story and how your own soul's evolutionary journey is intertwined with theirs. If you want to know more about this sacred alchemical journey, then head to my website, www.soulwisdom.ch, and under the section of sacred travel, you will find details to the initiation into the Merkaba grid. Now, I want you to close your eyes, if it feels safe to do so, as we transition into a quick activation. taking a deep, deep breath and anchor yourself into the sands of time, anchor yourself into the cosmic womb space and the waters of this cosmic womb space with the whales being present. Feel your feet connecting in with the sands of time as the desert itself holds so much ancestral, earthly, and also cosmic wisdom. Feeling that these remnants of bones make up the sand that you are walking on. This is a living library of codes, of information, of Akashic storage that is brought to you from the past and delivering information that you need to know in the present and for your future soul's evolution. Feeling the warmth of the sand and the codes coming through the soles of your feet. Under the rising sun, revealing to you evidence of the greatest mysteries, of the greatest questions, of the greatest inquiries you hold as a person and your soul holds. So see and feel how the whales, as guardians, not only of this place of land, but as guardians and keepers of the sacred wisdom and knowledge, are opening a gate for you, are opening a portal in the sand, in the desert. And it is more of an etheric portal of energy, a dimension that you slip through holding an intention for a specific code or a specific remembrance or specific reclamation that you want to bring through a soul thread, a gift of a past life, a connection to a blood or a star lineage that you want to bring through. Be as specific as you can, because the realms of the Akashic are not a place to be messed with. It's a place of careful, intentional inquiry. See yourself sitting in this portal of energy as the sand and also the ley lines below you. And as this energetic grid, the net, as the Egyptians call it, is surrounding you, invisible threads through lifetimes, dimensions. It's this internet of spirit that you connect yourself in and that you learn how to speak with it. So just sitting there and paying attention to what these little threads, these impulses, energetic sparks that are given to you by the whales, by the sand, by the coatings of the sun. feeling a vortex building around you, wrapping you into a sandstorm of its own that is only swirling around you. And it is through the motion of the sand running up and down and around you in the spiraling motion that there is a recalibration of your energy field taking place. There is an unplugging and a replugging, a rewiring of soul contracts, of soul threads, of the remembrance of your purpose and what your soul is here to bring to this earth in this lifetime, and the contribution to personal and collective consciousness expansion. As the sand drops again and the energetic portal closes, the activation is complete. And whether you have consciously absorbed all the information and the codings or not, just trust that they are activated within your cells, within your bones. And whenever the time is ready, that they will unlock in the physical. Taking a deep, deep breath to come back and slowly leave the desert, slowly retrieving your consciousness from this alchemical, dry sea, the bed of sands, the valley of the whales, coming back into your own body, bringing back your breath to a natural, normal rhythm, and then opening your eyes again. Thank you for traveling with me to the Valley of the Whales. From my own experience, I can tell you that Egypt is a sacred template unlocking deep, deep soul gnosis and homecoming into your spiritual path, but also how to embody this in your earthly existence. Initiation into the Merkaba grid is an exquisite and intimate journey with profound alchemy within and without that is waiting for you. We journey into the lands of Chem December 11th to 18th, 2025. There is 12 spots that are available, and you will know now in your bones if this is your calling. I am happy to receive your yes. Head over to my website, www.soulwisdom.com, and under the section of Sacred Travel, click on Initiation into the Merkaba grid. Thank you so much for tuning in today's episode, and continue to escape the ordinary.